G'day and welcome! This guide on Conan Exiles is about all of the hidden armor that only drops from certain things, plus a couple of honorable mentions, and why you might want to actually acquire said armor. Starting off with this dashing helm, the Nemedian Helm is one of the extra good ones that's handy to stumble upon, as it will actually repair durability of any weapon that's held in your hand whilst you're getting attacked. Also works the same for tools. Whilst it may not be as good as something like the Godbreaker boots, which also repair durability, anything but legendary, might I just say, it is still very good. With 143 armor and karmic, which is it repairing, it is a decent medium armor. It can be acquired from killing a spider, one of the easier bosses to come get, over at Skittering Cavern in around 5 EF. It's also a great place to come get a bunch of ichor and some chitin, chitin, ichor, whatever you want to call it, and some gossamer. You can harvest all of these little nodes. Running all the way to the end, we're going to find ourselves a little boss spider. He's pretty easy to kill even when I'm not in admin mode. I don't particularly know your settings though, so we're just going to admin kill them. We were pretty lucky this time and got the Nemedian and the Akabani blades. On occasion, it can be just one or either, but they did up the drop rate from all bosses on these type of things. Yay! These are quite a nice little throwing dagger. If you hack them up with a pick, you'll get a lot of ichor, demon blood, as well as a legendary key, which you can access this box just here. It is by far one of the easiest legendary key boxes to come by, as well as you get a nice little helmet. Next up, and possibly far more easily acquirable, although there's a bunch of random chance involved, is the Asura Armor. It's going to give us some pretty nice little light stats with some health, some concussive damage, some more health, some for follower damage, and some agility damage on that hood. Not a whole lot of armor with it all on, but in saying that, if you're a light build, you're a light build. It cannot be repaired, as I do believe it cannot be repaired. We'll actually have to check that. Most of the time it will drop damage because they're silly at Funcom, but you can get a nice little set. On occasion you will get it full durability. The best way though to get it though is to tame an Asura thrall, as they will always have a full set of all durability on them. So rather than killing them and attempting to get some, everyone's very easy to kill here and also a nice little source of brimstone. You can basically get a lot of really nice named thralls here. You can get an edgesmith here, a shieldwright I do believe. All of these guys can be named thralls. Drop some other random stuff that like an apron, some gloves. If you can get those here too. Can't craft them unless you have an armor, but those are some of our honorable mentions. Right down the back here we will find this guy. If we're to tame him, we could steal his armor straight off his back and claim it for our own, or we can kill him and try our luck. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of durability going on here. I have a Grandmaster Weapon Repair Kit, and let's see, item cannot be repaired. So you're much better off taming them than killing them. And that spot is Sinner's Refuge at G4. Just a smidge north of there at 5 GH, we will find the summoning place. And again, on a rare occasion, we might find the Witch Doctor Alchemist. Possibly better to tame, as it is a named alchemist that technically used to do stuff a little bit quicker. If you kill them, you're going to find yourself the Mask of the Witch Doctor. Looking very, it's light armor, but it also does do follower damage and concussive damage with 40 armor. And it is a gas mask and a sandstorm mask. Simply run on into the summoning place. Occasionally there may be an event going on and you won't see anyone spawned about. That's because there's an event. Decent enough place to come farming for thralls, so it's not a complete waste of time if old mate's not here. Some other nice guy might be. We only do have a Yog Priest this time, but it may have been something better. I spawned in a bunch of witch doctors and I'm gonna kill them. Didn't mean to do that. Take up my time. If the spawn isn't here, simply kill the one that is here, or if you're in single player, and run away and come back. This guy happened to drop the mask. That's nice. That guy did. So as you can see, it's not even very guaranteed. We've got like 3 so far out of, I think there was almost 10 that I spawned in. 8. We got like half out of the spawns. So, yeah. I'm a firm believer that this hood needs to get a smidge of a buff, because you can probably make much better stuff by hand learning some other recipes. That's beside the point. If you are not making stuff on a run, doing some type of challenge run, or you just particularly like the look of this hood and you want some cool stats, you don't like Thaumaturgy, whatever, come on down to Executioner's Ruin. Death Whisper's Camp, Death Whisper Ruins, and then we've got the other cave. These guys will usually be fighting spiders out the front. You can get a lot of decent free aggro. This hood's heavy armor with 312 armor damage, but it also does 6 to your strength, which is quite nice. Not quite as good as it used to be. Also another decent little spot to come get Brimstone. A lot of metal, a lot of ichor, less gossamer, a lot of skeletons. Do be careful, they are prone to clustering you in a corner. All of these guys. Kill this little man. He can drop a relic fragment, a executioner's blade, and also the executioner's axe. If you're lucky, you'll get the hood. It is a little bit rarer than the other two. Come up, you might get a little bit of demon blood, but you'll probably just not. You can exit or enter by going through this way now. We probably bring a torch as it is a little bit dark in here, and we shall find the other entrance. If you'd like the ability to swim underwater just a little bit longer, but not indefinitely, on down to Booty Bay, around 7-8N. With only 13 armor, it does have the ability to breathe underwater, so it's worth having it for that, and every now and then they'll bug their game and you can breathe infinitely with it. We used to have to kill this guy here. He was the only guy that ever dropped it. Now, you might as well just tame him for a fairly meth roll, but he might become OP again one day. Kill him and he will drop this, but also potentially some Sobek gear. We'll go into where we can get some more of that Sobek gear in just a moment. He pretty much 100% of the time will drop a mask, but he won't always necessarily be here. My cat jumped and scared me. But fear not, because in one of the new ages, I can't remember which one, they did add in all animal tamers now drop masks. Also well worth getting the Grosjean Dream Dust, as it does enable you to see at night. Don't eat it in the snow, or if it's going to be daytime soon, it's quite gross. But they will also drop the mask. You can find one just at the entrance of Booty Bay, but also a fair few chilling up at Flotsam. Whether it be here or over the other side, I can't remember. It might be the other side. There he is. There is some over there too. But while I'm here, we'll also go into one of our next armors. We have the Black Corsair gear. Probably don't say that right. On occasion, it has been known as a bit of a meta. You need black silk to craft it once you've learnt the recipe, which you can actually acquire, I do believe, from up at the Pirate Bay itself, but it's pretty easily acquirable from killing the one skulls around here. It is a light armor with agility. Dismantling the pieces will give you fairly decent amount of black silk back. Just here, I'm gonna find this little guy, metarize, and get your chance at some of that. There's also potential chance to get some silk in some of these boxes. If you head all the way over here, going to find a couple more of these guys chilling about. And the potential recipe, where are we? Up here. Touch this and we'll get the other pirate recipes, which is a bit of an honorable mention. For most pirates have the chance to drop some pretty cool pirate garb if you wanted a peg leg or so. But you can also just touch that recipe and craft it yourself. That's located just here, basically on the little line of N and O and 8 and 7. Touching back upon that Sobek armor that Tamos dropped. If you want to know where to get that, head on over to Zalthan's Refuge in 7J. This is probably not an early game place, but if you are close to level 60 or you have killed a couple of the one skulls along the way, a little bit of an honorable mention in a minute if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might be able to take on this place. I highly advise putting a bedroll out the front because they're a bit spicy. These guys have a chance to drop it. You cannot tame them. They're not a taming guy. The armor itself doesn't have any heat or cold resistance and cannot be dyed, but it is a health buff memory. The outlined guys or the named guys have a much better chance at dropping full sets, but again, we're not going to get much durability on them, much like the Asura Armor and they can also not be repaired. If you'd like to know where to get this snazzy Serpent Man weapons that they drop, we'll also go into that a little bit later. It's kind of a bit of an honorable mention as Volcano Men kind of drop some armor that's related to it. So we'll go into that also. But I do have a whole separate guide on where to find all of the different recipes in the Exiled Lands, as well as all of the hidden weapons that drop from guys like this that you cannot craft or get any other way. That'll be all linked somewhere or at the end of the video. Looking into those medium stats, it does give us 698 armor all up. That will change slightly depending on your attributes, as different ones do apply to your actual armor stats. But for the most part, they're 40 per with the health and pretty decent per with the armor. The durability itself is also quite nice, and it doesn't weigh a huge amount. There are a fair few of these guys around, but keep in mind you can't use it on the Thermagogi bench to skin your other armor unless everything has full durability, unless they've changed that, which hopefully they have upon your viewing of this, because that's quite silly. I'd like to use a ruined thing, thank you, rather than waste me good thing. It's a bit silly. And all the way up to this end, you can get a lot of mushrooms in this cave, a lot of poisonous mushrooms specifically, a little bit of alligators about, but a ton of these guys. Kill our master of Sobek here, chosen, or Sobek rather. A lot of gold and silvery boxes about, and he will have a chance of actually dropping full durability. But these ones, not full durability. Cannot speak. Not full durability. So you might have to kill him a few times to get that whole set. You could get lucky and get a whole bunch of once, or you could get a whole bunch of repeats also. This group of rapscallionly dressed scoundrels behind me are wearing some of the more powerful armor that does drop from the bosses. And some of the stuff you specifically want to go out there and farm. Made considerably easier with the drop increase update. These guys have very powerful armor. Starting off with the helm here, it is a gas mask, and it can also come dressed on, not necessarily, but it goes nicely with the commander's chest piece. Nice bit of heavy armor. I mean medium armor, one of the heaviest medium armors. This guy, same thing, the best gas mask you can get in the game with the most armor. As there is a loot pool, I'm going to go through everything that drops from the skeleton bosses and then show you where they all spawn and go on to the next thing. Our next guy is wearing the scorpion harness and helm, which is going to give us medium armor, concussive damage, follower damage, decent armor. Cleansing gets rid of corruption, in case you didn't know, so if you're super corrupt, you can put this on. But if you wish to have a corruption build, do not put this on. There is no hidden stats that I know of with the Scorpion Helm, like it's not a gas mask or anything like that. Doesn't prevent poison, nothing particularly cool like it fully could. But we've again got some fairly decent medium armor going on. Our next outfit is the Night Stalker mask and the War Dancer shirt. The Night Stalker mask enables us to see at night and much better in dark environments. It's a light mask. It's a light mask with 42 damage, and the war chest 73 for a light piece of armor, plus it also does 6 strength damage. Very nice if you like a strength light build. And last but not least in the loot pool, actually we've still got some more stuff. What am I talking about? And last but not least on this guy, we have the legendary of the Nordheimers insulated for the cold helmet. Quite a nice little helmet at 312 armor. It is heavy, but it does have a lot of cold insulation, which we like. Looks much like a heavy Nordheimer helm. We do also have this outfit here, well, most of it anyway. We'll need to go visit a different guy for this. If you have not seen my separate brute video, we'll dip into him anyway. The silk stuff is fairly decent light armor, I suppose, but considering it's not adding any extra stats, probably not that worth it. But the War Mammoth boots are nice because they have a decent carry capacity and they are also more cold insulated than hot. So if you happen to need to be extra cold for whatever reason, you're basically just going to be getting around looking like a Shemite. These are all from the skeleton pool. All of the skeletons drop the same things, weapons and armor. This doesn't mention any of the weapons, but there are a lot of really cool ones. I got a couple of separate videos that go over all of that. This guy here, let's just kill him for shits and gigs. Didn't drop an armor, but We are right here on the map. Lots of skeletons around here, so be prepared to fight all these guys. Most of them are pretty close to each other. You can do nice little loops of all of the bosses. Heading just over here right by the obelisk, which is possibly the one I should have started with. If we dip in this way, we'll find this guy here on the map right next to the slave pits. Our next location is also very, very close by, but does require a little bit of a climb, so I don't usually get him, not gonna lie. Can't be bothered. All the way up here, I highly advise if you are going to do it, to climb on the corners and look for some ledges. For some reason, corners seem to be way less buggy when climbing. Couldn't tell you why. Fun things. But here he is. I usually like to lure him over here because you can smack him off, he can smack you off, he can just fall off, you can launch yourself off. Yes. Also, Conan things. Right, not if all three of those happen to not be here, we can head on over this way and find ourselves another guy. He's usually always over here, and there is a 30% chance for them to drop legendaries, allegedly. They have up to that, I do believe. Nothing's reliable anymore. This guy wandering around, I used to get a lot of Swords of Crom specifically off him. They say it's random chance, but I don't know. He dropped a ghast sword. That didn't look that random, did it? Coming off a ghast. No, it fully is random. I've spawned in a butt ton of them, and they pretty much had equal amounts to drop all the different things. And we're all the way over this side of the Unnamed City now. The rest of this guy's armor comes from, I mentioned it before, the Brute. In my opinion, one of the easier bosses to kill in the Unnamed City. He drops a very nice medium helm, which does 6 damage, and some gauntlets, which aren't as good as they used to be, but still are. He's usually chilling by himself, so he's pretty easy to pick off. Doesn't have a huge amount of health, but none of them do, but also his attacks are very easy to avoid, and they're not some psycho weapons, so they don't hurt you quite as much. Lots of areas to get him glitched onto. The biggest reason you do want to come and kill him, though, is for the weapons. The shanks are nice, the predatory blade. I go into all of that in the other videos. Now, this lady might not look like much, but she's wearing one of possibly my most favorite helms just for trolling tribe mate. It's very fun. And it's also a nice, quick, easy way to get yourself some corruption if you happen to be using those sorcery things. Fandangle sorcery. And not pirate pants, but they in fact verminhide pants. Nowhere near as good as they used to be. They used to add 2 points to all of the stats. Maybe it was 1 point each, so therefore if you wore both it was 2 points. I don't know, but it used to be way better. Now they do a little bit of armor and health and a bit of agility weapon damage. But out of the light, they do some of the most health. And our Black Feather Helm is in fact cursed, which means it will instantly corrupt us, which is quite funny. If you happen to put it on a sleeping tribe mate and don't have any dancers, put them on a sleeping tribe mate, kill them. Put them on an enemy when you're raiding, kill them. Much better than being toxic to your tribe. But sometimes we get bored and it's all in good faith. Faith and fun. But we are a medium armor with 143. Unless you are getting around with that sorcery build and you don't want people curing your corruption randomly with dances and whatnot, this guy is the guy to keep on. It's usually pretty funny when you put it on a sleeping tribe mate because they log on and they're like, why am I so corrupt? And then they cannot uncorrupt themselves. And if you do have a dancer around, it just goes upsy downsy, upsy downsy, upsy, and it's very funny. Do it to yourself one time. All of that plus more can be acquired from this lovely little bugger behind us. He's the winged death, the white death, not sure, whatever. Kill him if you're actually going to look at him. Yeah, I didn't get anything good today. But you can also get a Riptide, which enables you to breathe underwater, and some Quivering Arrows, which are very good arrows. I maybe have to hack him up, but I believe they drop in his pocket, as well as some other stuff. Now on to the Red Mother drop. We have the Dragon Scale Helm, which is all heat, all cold resistance. You can basically just pop that on and wear some Sobek stuff and get about and be just fine. And it happens to look just like Sobek stuff too. It is a medium with 143. We also have the Horned Helmet, which is just heavy with 312. Not the most in the world, but if you want to look like a horned helmety guy, there you are. And then we have the God Eye. It is a light armor with 42 and a strength of 6. So if you do want that light strength build, it used to give less accuracy, but I don't think it does do that anymore unless that's a hidden stat. As accuracy no longer technically exists in the game because they went and changed our perks up a little while ago. So who knows if it does actually affect that still with their coding. Just in case I didn't show where the Winged Death was, because I have a feeling I didn't, right here at the Aviary. And then over here we will find the spawning pools and the Red Mother. I can't get the thing for the spawning pool. It's just over here. Directly behind me, do be careful, she likes to stomp you and your thralls into the ground and try not to get breathed on. Overall, not as bad as she used to be. well worth checking the loot boxes behind her, because they can have some pretty fun things. And depending on what you hack her up with, you can get already tanned leather, a bunch of demon bone, a whole lot of horns. So preferably use that cleaver for getting the horns. For some reason, her, the dragon in the correct dungeon, and I think there's one other dragon somewhere, drop a lot of horn. So if you need that for sorcery leveling or making a lot of dragon bone bows, bonus tip. We did happen to get the Reach of the Red Mother. It is one of the best, but not necessarily the best, because the Voice of Decado and a couple other ones are also really nice these days. There we are. And now onto some of our honorable mentions. These are armors that you in fact can craft, but some of them have a little bit of a sneak to them. Now, technically the one behind us, he does not drop from particularly anything. You can get a regular Silent Legion from various one skulls. I do have a video on how to get Hearts of the Hero, and in that guide it shows you places where you can get free Silent Legion without having to make it yourself. But if you go do the recipe in the Black Keep, you will get the ability to get Redeemed Legion, which is a little bit more fancy, as you can see. You will need an armorer to be able to craft the Redeemed, and a named armorer at that, but it is worth mentioning. Very similarly to the Dancer's armor and the Altar armor, or all of the Priest's armor, you will need a altar to build all of the Priest's armor. So if you want to look like one of them, or alternatively, you can kill a priest and have a shot at getting some of that from them. Same with the dancers. If you do tame them, same with the priests, you have a likelihood of you will get the gear. Dancers always come with this gear, or maybe the Zath gear, depending if it is of that flavor or not. Not all thralls, though, will drop the armor that they have on them when tamed, but they are very likely to drop it when killed, so you can kill dancers and get the chance of getting some of this stuff, which is pretty decent starting armor, not gonna lie, with that health buff. You can get a fair amount of Nordheimer armor from killing Nords around this area, which is another nice armor. You can get a less good armor from killing the Dogs of the Desert guys. All armor that you can craft though. But if you do want that more heavy armor, head on over to Mounds of the Dead. By simply killing guys around this area, but specifically the named Berserkers, you're gonna get a really good chance at getting a set of heavy armor pretty dang quickly. And you can in fact repair this stuff with a repair kit. Doesn't need to be as high quality as the gear, it can be lower quality, the max durability will lower. A much easier way to get yourself up some heavy armor which does strength damage is look out for Taskmasters. Name dudes, again, are more likely to drop a lot more of that armor. We'll try our luck with Gothrad here. You can also tame him and get some recipe pieces for some Asura, or some Pride of Asura rather, armor. There we did get a Hyperborean Slaver Waistguard. It does not have to be Gothrad that you kill though. You can find Taskmasters all over the place, but a nice easy place that has a few of them would be the West Wall Prison. As you can find purple lotus orbs and a lot of boxes around here. You simply sit on a roof and throw them down and knock everyone out, as they're not aggressive around here, so it's real easy to get to the middle and then just kill them once they're knocked out. Or alternatively, you can get some thralls and get everyone to go ham. I personally like to use a blunted kit on regular stone daggers, as these guys have a decent amount of health and tend to live through that, but if they do die, well, that's our purpose at the moment. But just in case there's some guy that you happen to actually want to tame, they might knock out. As this guy is an apprentice, he's technically kind of a tier 2.5 or a 3, I think. We got a similar situation. Now, if you don't like your luck in running into anywhere without some armor and you just want a chance at maybe getting some light, medium, or heavy encumbrance to get you started, these one skulls, they like to fight guys nearby, so they're often already dead. But this guy, he dropped some medium already for us. That's going to get us leaps and bounds. We are located right here, but there are a fair few more of them along the beach. I do believe there is another around here. Oh, he was a little bit further down than my guesstimate. So yeah, usually fighting turtles and killing each other. They're pretty easy to pick off. They won't always drop gear though. Sometimes they're a heavy guy. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a bunch along the way, but this does give you a few along the river to run your chances at. We're at the next one, just here, a little bit down from Cannibal's Rest. They're all very easy to kill and technically tameable, I do believe, still. If someone has been in the area, they can occasionally wander a little bit far away. Yeah, they're still tameable. So you can tame these guys up. They're not going to come with the armor, but they are going to be a little bit better than anything else you can get at this point. You're probably going to die trying to get it though if you're a noob. If you're of higher level, probably don't worry. Our next guy is basically always fighting lizards. We're over here on this little island full of lizards. We've only pretty much found medium dudes. Didn't even kill the other guy. Nothing from him. But not too far away on the next little island, I'm gonna find another one, which is pretty handy when farming. Yes, where is he? Over here. Run past the skull boss. We'll find him here. Boop. The next honorable mention is the Nemedian Armor. You in fact do kill the Witch Queen to acquire the ability to craft this and the light armor, but you can get drops of it pretty easily. No longer from the Pagoda of Boundless Lust, but still, if you touch the butt and enter the Dagon dungeon and you kill some of these fellas around here, you have a pretty good chance of getting some of this. And you can just gas them. We're going to drop any... Oh, he dropped a sword. That's something. There we go. They line all up and down here. A few more up here this way. Got some boots. There's a medium armor which gives strength, but we can in fact repair it, which is really nice. All up it's 520 with my stat, but you can see the difference that you get here. Crafted with an armorer, obviously it's going to be a lot better. Sorcery clothes, a little bit different. There are a couple of ways to learn it and acquire it. You can kill some sorcerers. You can get it from them, but you can also get a recipe from them to learn it. It is the Skelos Cultist armor, of course. You can also travel to the volcano and learn it that way, just in case they take away the ability to get it from their pockets, like they have done in the past. It's a fairly decent set of medium, but no longer as good as it was because it used to be a lot cheaper to craft, but I highly recommend getting your hands on some by killing some sorcerers and getting that recipe, getting some drop. If you happen to notice a whole bunch of Skelos stuff dropping also, I forgot you can get some reptiles sometimes of these guys. Usually the name ones are more likely. We also got ourselves a skinning man of the serpent. What? Serpent man skinning knife. Skinning man of the serpent. My god, dyslexia sometimes. No, we are going to find some of these guys known as devotees, but also they're named Tamoses and stuff. Kisthises. They can potentially drop this stuff they're wearing, the regular Skelos. You can get the reinforced Skelos and a couple other little recipes, but not really for this guide. That's a separate actual recipe guide. But heading on over to the archivist and the library there, you can get the reinforced Skelos. Not too bad of a little light set. If you want to learn the regular set and that Serpent Man stuff, again, it's not really part of this recipe, but I will include it because I do like it and I want to spread the love. It always surprises me that it is so unknown about still. It will enable you to repair the stuff that these guys drop, weapons and the armor. Simply head on to the Well of Skelos. You can climb up. You'll see these stairs here if you want a detailed guide up. I do have different videos on that. You're going to find the tablet somewhere over here. Touch that, learn all the stuffs. But if you have been struggling killing sorcerers, although up here by the Shrine of the Oracle, we can find many a sorcerer about. They don't always drop the recipe. Sometimes you do actually have to open the box too. We got a dead sorcerer's map though. If you are struggling, head on over just down this way, or we can touch the recipe here. You will on occasion find named guys in events that will drop the actual Skelos Cultist armor, and occasionally named guys about, but they're the ones that are more likely to actually hold. This isn't also technically hidden and drop from bossy things, but you do need a named armorer, or at least a tier 3 maybe, but I believe named armorer for most of it, like the Redeemed Legion, ability to craft dancer outfits. You can then craft bearer backpacks. Also, killing bearers is a good source of them though. They don't always drop them, but very handy. Does not give you the ability to make Zath dancer clothing. You will need to make that in the Zath altar. Check out my other recipe guides to find all of those different gold recipes if you don't already have all religions learnt. Building that altar, I believe, to tier 2, but maybe tier 1 is pretty easy. You just need a couple of zeal, some resources, and then you can craft the priest outfits. I'll go kill some priests like I mentioned earlier. The set headgear in particular is worth mentioning though, as it is also a gas mask. Sneaky, sneaky. But not when it drops from the priests. Interesting. It's also called the Setite headdress. It has a different number when you're in single player and admin mode. Just a little bit of bonus information for those of you who actually enjoy my little tangents and rambles. So sorry for y'all who don't. I no doubt have missed something here or there, but for the most part, those are the hidden armor drops from the bosses around the land and some of the other enemies, and a couple of bonus tips in there. If you did enjoy this content, please smash that like button. It shows me you want to see more of this type of content. Chuck a comment up for the algorithm of something else you might want to see a guide on, or other games that you've been playing that you'd like to see me play. Always love to hear y'all's opinion. If you've watched a couple of my guides and you're not already subscribed, or you just enjoyed this one, consider subscribing. It does mean a bunch. No pressure. Fully understand though. It is Conan after all. But I do play some other games, and I also stream live on Twitch every now and then, also on YouTube. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Consider sticking around for the next guide, and until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, night, morning, evening, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.